Welcome to the land of the golden goose.
Kent Jelmstead is talking about Stanley, North Dakota. The home of the Blue Jays is also the home to many others these days.
Oil patch schools are in a state of emergency. Berthold, Stanley, Tioga, Ray, do you see a pattern here? Williston, Alexander, Watford City, Killdeer, all need to add classrooms and do some building.
Schools are frantically trying to figure out where to put students and how to hire more teachers when housing is expensive and tight.
You can read about it, you can hear about it, but you can't really understand it unless you're immersed.
That's the point of this trip. North Dakota lawmakers, on their own dime and time, want to see and hear what's really going on in western North Dakota. What they hear are pleas for help from every affected city and county.
We'll be willing to bear the brunt of this, but we need to make sure there's enough grease coming back here to help us keep functioning so that we can keep ahead, that we can provide housing for all these workers who are coming to the state and working in the soil industry.
In 2007, 12,500 people lived in Williston. Then came oil. Mayor Ward Kosher says there are 20,000 people living here now, and in 3 years, he's expecting another 10,000.
We want to make sure people, those of us who have lived here, we want to make sure that we keep this town something that we all can be proud of.
Mercy Hospital is one of the fastest growing in the nation. By next year, the ER will triple in size, surgery and OB will double in capacity, and they are building a cancer center.
Our service area goes from about Tioga up to the Canadian border, west probably to Wolf Point, down toward Sydney, and south of Watford City. We are planning for a population in that area that historically was 50,000 to be 100,000 within 3 years.
Small town hospitals are also seeing spikes they weren't expecting. The Tioga Medical Center saw 600 ER visits a year pre-oil. Now it's over 2,000. The trend crosses over to ambulance and fire calls as well.
2011, we had 280 patient contacts on the ambulance side. This year, for the first 5 months, based upon a prorated amount, will be over 300 for a volunteer ambulance service.
Peterson says it's getting more difficult to recruit volunteers because the calls are becoming constant. Oil impact grants have helped schools and fire and ambulance services in western North Dakota expand, buy equipment, and even fund positions. However, adding staff to meet the demands is not an easy answer. Few employees can afford the homes that are available.
No matter what you think of the oil impact, it's good. A town like this would have had a hard time surviving with 5 kids in the class.
Watford City Mayor Brent Sanford says before oil, western North Dakota towns were dealing with outmigration. Sanford says he'll take this challenge.
But you might be able to see all the color smeared around the outside. This is the potential growth area for the city. In the center right here, this little white part is where we are, the existing city limits.
Whether it's dealing with today's demands or planning for the future, city and county leaders say a larger chunk of oil revenues needs to return to oil country. Danelle Presky, KX News. It's 6:30 a.m. in Williston, North Dakota, and the morning commute looks more like bumper-to-bumper traffic in Minneapolis.
Feel the traffic, smell the oil, smell the dirt, dust, and then see firsthand of the challenges that this economic boom has got for us.
Traffic, crew camps, construction. They are exploding in what used to be a slow-paced, rural, quiet part of North Dakota.
Seeing how overwhelmed they are with everything. I mean, they are truly drinking from a fire hose right now with all the different issues.
Lawmakers who serve in the North Dakota House in leadership positions are here to get to know the challenges, see the problems, and hear solutions.
When you look at all the mobile trailers and the crew camps, I can really see that the housing is a problem. And then the infrastructure, certainly the roads. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
We knew that the schools, they needed more space, but we didn't realize the housing problems and things for teachers were a big problem for them. The medical facilities, the great increase they've had And then the trouble they've had collecting. I had no idea that was a problem out here.
Legislators take it all in. This is the homework for a big project 6 months down the road.
We obviously can't give them everything they want, but we're going to listen. We're going to take that to heart. We're going to take it back to the legislature, and we're going to see what we can do where the state's role is to assist in the problems they have.
It's probably going to be one of the most, if not the most important session that we've ever had in North Dakota, because we have got a chance to really make an impact for these people in the West.
The challenge come next session will be deciding how much of the oil revenues should return to the land that is playing host to the oil industry.
It's very important that we recognize that, yes, a lot of the revenue is coming from the West. We have a lot of needs in the East, too.
There's going to be some money spent out here. There's no question about that. And just finding that level that we think that we can sustain and that the rest of the citizens in North Dakota believe would be proper. Because this is not the only area of the state that has problems.
This is benefiting all the state of North Dakota. There is a cost to doing that, and we need that help with that cost.
Danelle Presky, KX News. In North Dakota, hydraulic fracturing is critical in the oil production process. And this is what it looks like. An enormous amount of equipment, $40 million worth, all here for what's below this wellhead.
Kind of see the whole operation from this point. I mean, clearly that's the wellhead, the big blue, you know.
It's a big operation, an important operation, that a group of North Dakota lawmakers get an unfiltered view of. Touring a frac site as it's going on is extremely rare.
The big contraption you kind of see in the middle is a blender. That's where all the chemicals and sand and everything comes together to go to the pump trucks.
Jeanette Hilton is the expert here when it comes to hydraulic fracturing. She's been making her way around western North Dakota since fracking became the answer to getting oil out of North Dakota's ground.
These rocks are so tight that they will not produce without fracking this rock.
It's here where liquids are forced at high pressure, 7,000 pounds per square inch, up to 4 miles out. Everything that is needed in the frac job is on site. 2 million gallons of water sitting in 40-some tanks, and 3.5 million gallons of sand.
So basically, this is a resin-coated sand. It's a natural sand that's coated with resin, and the resin makes it stronger for the downhole conditions.
The sand is mixed in a gel that looks more like something you'd find at a dollar store.
This is basically what it should look like.
But is a key ingredient in releasing the black gold.
You can see these sand suspended in this. It carries that sand into the formation. So we're basically creating kind of a highway for all these hydrocarbons to flow to.
For lawmakers, this was better than any science experiment. Being able to touch these products allowed legislators to learn truths about this highly exploited process.
The industry is definitely moving towards everything being food grade. So definitely safe in my mind.
Hilton says she feels comfortable with the process and says she has no worries about the effects of fracking.
And I don't think it's something to be fearful of. I think it's going to lead us to national security through energy independence.
Danelle Presky, KX News.